Hello, and welcome back to my channel, Literary Love 123, where I like to use my master's in English to extol the literary merits of the horror genre. Today's video is a tag video where I'm going to tell you how you can read smart. Now, before you click away thinking, who is this random person on the internet trying to tell me what I should read in order to read smart? Let me just calm you and say this is not a video trying to tell you what to read. I would never presume to tell you how to read smart in that respect. This is about how to enjoy the books that you're already reading and the books that you want to read. So this tag was created by Emily at Prose and Petticoats and Ruben at To Readers It May Concern. And I saw the video on Carla Likes to Read's channel. So I will link all of their channels down in the description box below. The Read Smart tag has 8 questions. So let's get started. Number 1, what is your strategy to stay focused and engaged while reading? So for me, I like to have a certain spot to read, and that is my comfy reading chair. I like to light a candle. I like to have a certain instrumental playlist going, depending on the genre of the book that I'm reading. And I often like to have coffee or wine. And that just kind of cues my brain to knowing that this is time to sit down, focus, and let all the other stuff go for a little while and just have some time to enjoy a book. Number 2, how does your environment influence your focus and what can you do to optimize it? So, one of the issues that I sometimes have with allowing myself to stop everything and read is that I do work from home. So, it's difficult at times to maintain kind of a work and, relaxation balance, because not only am I, aware of things that I could or should be doing online for work, but I also see all around me in my environment all the household tasks and chores that should be done. So, again, having that routine of lighting that candle and playing certain music that kind of shifts my brain from work mode into relaxation mode helps. And again, having a certain spot where I do my reading for pleasure and a different spot where I do my work related reading. Number 3, what methods do you use to retain and recall information from what you've read? So, this kind of feeds into another question, but I do annotate the books that I read. And so that helps me retain and recall information. And I'll talk a little bit more about the things that I annotate in just a moment. Another method that helps me retain and recall the information I read is to tell my spouse about the books I'm reading. He is not reading those books with me. Reading is not even one of his hobbies, really. But I will just tell him about some of the books that I read, and he listens and he'll make, commentary and stuff. So that also helps me. And I am a part of a few online virtual book clubs, and talking about books with others in that respect helps me retain and recall the information too. And so does having this booktube channel. It's another reason I wanted to start this channel, so I could talk about the books I love with all of you, and you could talk about the books you love with me. Number 4, how do you approach difficult or challenging material? If I know something is going to be challenging or difficult, I will start by going ahead and reading a synopsis of that book. I will read summaries. I will read other people's reviews. That way, when I go into it, I already have some kind of mindset about what it's going to be about and what some of the key ideas or concepts are. Number 5, what role do note taking and annotation play in your reading process? So I do tab my books, I highlight my books, I write in my books. Sometimes there are certain books that I don't write in. I have a difficult time, for example, like writing in and highlighting a lot of hardback books, but I do have a reading journal that I use for that. You may have seen my recent video where I talk about being very inconsistent with a reading journal. But I find if I'm just like writing quotes or feelings I have about a book and not trying to make anything too fancy or pretty, that I can make good use of a reading journal. So I would say gauging my feelings as I go, um, highlighting and tabbing certain point plots, questions that I have. Like I'll ask if a character is doing something. For example, I'll ask, is this going to foreshadow something that's coming later? So, kind of having an active conversation with myself while I read. Number 6, how do you balance reading for pleasure with reading for personal or professional development? So, one of the ways I do this is at times if I have a lot of professional development reading I need to do, I will designate certain days of the week for that kind of reading, and then other days of the week for reading for pleasure. Sometimes I'll do it like certain times of the day. For example, I'll say in the daytime, I'm going to do personal or professional development type reading. And then at night, when it's a little more relaxed, I'll do my personal pleasure type of reading. Number 7, what is the importance of setting reading goals? That is a good question. And I do have a goal that I've set for the number of books that I want to read this year. And I also have 24 books that I want to read in 2024. But I think the important thing is being flexible about those goals. I'm not going to beat myself up if I don't achieve either one of those goals. So, goal setting can be productive. It can be encouraging to kind of keep you along, the path of your reading journey, but it can also be detrimental to your enjoyment if you become too focused on the goal versus the actual, pleasure of reading itself. Number 8, what are some strategies for overcoming reading slumps or lack of motivation? So the biggest tip I have here is to DNF a book. If a book is not working for you, put that book down, move on to something else that you want to read. Now, it may be a soft DNF where it's not working for you at the time, but at a different season of your life, you may pick it back up and it might work for you then. Or it may just be a solid DNF where it didn't work for you at the time and it's not going to work for you. And it's perfectly okay to put the book down even if everybody else loves it. That's fine. Put the book down. If it's not because of, not enjoying a book that you're experiencing a slump, then I suggest rereading an old favorite. That way, you're going to enjoy the book and you're also not having to do as much mental work to follow the book, and the story along because you already know how it's going to end. Another strategy to overcome a reading slump is to try audiobooks. If you've been reading physically, then try an audiobook, see if that'll break that slump. And it can work the other way around too. So that is the Read Smart tag. I would love to know your answers to these questions. So leave them in the comments below. If you have a booktube channel and you do this tag, please tag me in your video so I can watch it. And I definitely appreciate your watching this video. And if you would like to, then I would like for you to hit the like button. That's a lot of likes and subscribe so you won't miss a video from me. Bye.